So this is my Roborock Qrevo Curv, a futuristic robot vac that can not only pick itself up, but comes with a futuristic self-cleaning, auto mop, auto drying clean station. So this is where the future is, because this thing can get really hot and can dry your mop pads very quickly. And your unit itself is using AI, so it has better obstacle detection, and it has the ability to raise itself up with the Adapt Lift chassis. But the drawback here is that how effective is this unit, because it has a lot of those cool features, but what's the most important thing we care about when we are getting a robovac, especially at this price point? We want to know, how well does it perform when we're not there? We want to know, is it always going to finish its session? Is it a reliable model? So in order for me to answer those questions for you, let me just talk about the features you get inside your Roborock here. So the Qrevo Curv is coming with extendable mop arms. So these are going to be coming with the Mop Extend technology. The Roborock comes with a FlexiArm arc side brush that has an anti-tangled side brush here that's just going to help it reach into the corners and crevices where you're trying to vacuum. The Roborock is also coming with a new updated anti-tangle brush roll that's going to be separated into two parts. Now there's a good and a bad with the anti-tangle brush roll here that we're going to get into, but the key feature here on your Roborock that separates it from its competition as well as other Roborocks is going to be that lifting chassis. So this has an Adapt Lift chassis, so it can start doing a wheelie and then pick itself up and then take itself over obstacles as well as different thresholds. And Roborock claims it's up to areas maybe up to 4 centimeters or about an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter. In our tests, we think 3/4 of an inch is really the maximum, because what happens here is that the wheels have to power it over. And remember, your Roborock is not a 4x4. There's no 4 wheels here for additional traction. So what your Roborock tries to do is that it's going to pop a wheelie and then it's going to drive these wheels that have grooves in them and then try to get as much traction so that it can pull itself over the threshold. My worry is that if you count too much on the Adapt Lift to go over obstacles, sometimes those obstacles might be like a wire or might be a cable or something else. That's going to allow it to just pick itself up and the cable's just going to get fed into the brush roller faster, or the obstacle and debris just gets into the brush roll faster. So let me share with you the weaknesses that I found with our Roborock Qrevo Curv after 50 different sessions, each session lasting a minimum of 45 minutes. So first thing, if you have high pill carpets that you see here, you're going to notice that your Roborock is not going to be great in terms of obstacle detection for high pill carpets. The pathing is also going to be a little bit irregular, and it doesn't get as close or as deep inside of the carpet fibers as you hoped. And that's mainly specifically because of the setup of the Roborock. Because it uses this anti-tangle dual 2-piece brush roll, it doesn't have as much down pressure, at least in my opinion, for quite effectiveness if you have medium to high pill carpet. You won't notice the difference if you have hard floors or low pill floors, but this is not great for something like that. And if you have a white iPhone cable on your floor or a black power plug that's connected to a fan, it's literally going to try to suck those things up.
Then the Roborock forgets that there's a cord attached to it or doesn't realize it, and it tries to jump around it, tries to go around it, but it just ultimately spins all its dynamic pieces so that the cord just gets deeper and deeper and deeper trapped inside of the machine. And then eventually the cord is going to get stuck somewhere and your machine will get stuck too. The Roborock is not going to be the most avoidant if you have extension cords or cords like that on the floor in general, because it tries to pick itself up over it. So you can see that the Roborock is trying to see if it can jump over that. And maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I've been using this in my house every single day for over 2 weeks, and I've used it on different floor types, and I've used it in real world situations, and it has gotten stuck repeatedly so many more times than my DreamBot X40 Ultra, even more than the Roborock S8V Ultra. We have a jam here caused by a cord again. This is every single time we have a cord on the floor, it has jammed the Roborock. Let's turn it around. You can see, even though this is anti-tangle, it's not the best for cords because the cord just gets tangled right in. So we set off our unit and it's been vacuuming for 30 minutes, and surprisingly it is jammed. So here it is where the jam has occurred, and it's jammed because it got a cord stuck on it. And it has chosen to suck in the cord. All right, now the cord is stuck in the many rotating different objects inside the Roborock. And we're gonna have to see, is it gonna be able to free itself? It senses the cord here, and then it goes right into the cord. Now, it's trying to avoid it. Oh wait, no, it's trying to go into it. And yep, it's just trying to go around it, into it. But everything's getting sucked up in all the rotating brushes. So avoidance is the best when you have lots of rotating brushes. And you can see that now it will just drag around this cord. So if you're not home, it's just going to have this cord stuck to it until that cord releases or it traps itself and it's not going to finish its session. So we're going to see, does the Roborock Qrevo Curv able to handle quinoa as well as large Rice Krispies? Let's find out. What I like to do, if you want to vacuum or mop, you can always just do that independently, or you can do a customize, so you can do it by zones. So in this case, what I want to see is that we're going to place the suction power on max plus, that's the highest level of suction power. We're going to let it clean count just one time, and then we're going to have it on the standard route. And you can see the side brush roll is getting very close to the sideboards and the baseboards, so that's very good. So it is doing a very good job cleaning it, vacuuming everything through. So next up, let's test out the mopping features. We have coffee, and we're going to be testing it with some organic creamy tomato soup. So let's see, we're going to put some on our floor here, and let's see how well it mops it up. And then let's see how well our unit is going to be able to self-clean its mop pads after picking up something with coloring in it. On our left is the coffee, on our right is the tomato soup. In order to test out the high intensity mopping, which the robot will move in a tighter Z-shaped pattern, covering each area of the floor twice, vacuuming power will be reduced. High intensity mopping is recommended for recently vacuumed floors only. We just vacuumed our floors here. You even can go into a high intensity mopping, which is in deep plus mode. The robot will move more slowly and make less noise. Roborock has made a very good decision going to the circular mop pads that use magnets, and you can see how it handles a majority of these type of situations. It's going to make multiple passes, but if you have it on auto or intelligence mode, what that's going to do is it's going to decide what's on the floor and how many passes it should make on its own. However, in my estimation, I think you can do this by yourself, and it's better you do this by yourself, because if you think you got real stains, you want to make sure you cut the time that you have your Roborock clean out its mop pads to about 10 minutes, and then you want to put the water level to at least medium and let it go finish its mopping. So as you can see, our unit was able to remove the stains easily off our floors here. It did use a considerable amount of water, so you can also see how wet the floors are. So after having wiped the area with a paper towel, you can see that there is still some tomato sauce as well as coffee residue on the water that was remaining from the mop pads. So that's one thing to also recognize, is that it's not going to be as clean as what you would get if you use a hot, wet dry mop, or you use something like a paper towel with some solution. So after running it on the tomato soup as well as the coffee, you can see the colors of the mop pads. Now they have a brownish reddish hue to them. We want to see, after running it on the hot water drying possibly twice, want to see what the results are. So inside the dock here, we can wash them. You can change the settings as well from smart hot water. You can also do light, balance, deep, so I can have a higher water consumption, room, warm or hot in terms of the water temperature. So in terms of the wash frequency, you can adjust that by room or by time. You can also change the duration you want the mop pads to dry for, from 2, 3, or 4 hours. So if you want to automatically clean the dock cleaning tray to remove dirt, it's not going to clean the heaviest particles, but you have that self-cleaning for cleaning tray here. You just have to press that. So the hot water washing really does work, because you can see how clean the mop pads are after a single session. Let's see after 2. So after running the mop cleaning session on our Roborock 2 Ice, let's see how clean the mop pads are. Entire stains and all the stains on them have been removed. If you're taking a look at the clean station itself, you notice that it is very well made and there's no real gaps or anything in terms of the overall construction. When you open it up, you're going to have your clean water tank here, color of our dirty water tank after we used it to clean tomato sauce and coffee. And on the back area here, that's where the bag is going to be located. So by putting everything at a lower level, they didn't need to make it taller, it's just a lot wider, as you can see. This is going to be the inside part of your clean station. And when you want to clean it out, here is the part that you want to clean out yourself. So they have a little tray here, and you can pop this part out as well. And this is going to be that clean water or dirty water reservoir. You can see where the hair as well as any material or debris can start collecting up top. And here you can hear it emptying the dustbin. It's not very loud. I would say that it's about, I wouldn't say that emptying the dustbin is very loud, but it's not quiet. It's just kind of loud. Be a full cleaning run where we just did the entire floor. There were no issues, and it had the finish cleaning green button, and it took about 85 minutes. The battery life was about 25% at the end of this. So it does need and requires a charge after every full floor cleaning run because the battery will drain, especially if you have it on turbo mode or you're using it for mop and vacuum. Next, let's talk about adaptive lift on carpet, because adaptive lift is honestly, it is a good feature, but if you have it on high pill or medium pill carpet, the unit, because it can't get that traction on the rear wheels, is likely to get caught and unable to go over that threshold. The Roborock also has a more difficult time identifying thresholds or raised floors on carpet than it does on hard floors. And I think that's really because of the height constantly changing. And you can see your Roborock, it loves to pop that wheelie to get the front wheel above, and you can see it dramatically adjusts the height of those wheels. But because there's another side to it, there's no push up or no wheel on the rear part of your unit. So that means it can't just push up the rear. It needs the traction from the wheels to help drive it over the barrier. And in many instances, it will not be able to do that. And if it's not able to do it, most of the times it's just going to stop its run and go back to the base. Because your Roborock doesn't just want to waste time. It has an AI trying to make the best decisions for it. So if it's saying, hey, I can't finish the session, it's going to go back. And the Roborock will just constantly try to adjust its height on high pill carpet, which affects you wanting to use it on adaptive mode. So if you don't have it with adaptive on carpet, what's the benefit? And you don't really get to use it, and it can't go over those thresholds like it does so well here on hard floors. And on hard floors, majority of the time, it has no problem going over thresholds, or it figures out a way. It's just that on carpet, it doesn't have the same performance, and that means it's hard for me to recommend because that's what a lot of my home is using.
One of the reasons that's such a problem is going to be because this comes with something called Reactive AI. So it has a RGB camera as well as LiDAR that's going to allow it to detect and see what's on the floor. But what's the difference here? The colors are not going to be as pronounced, or it's just not as effective in recognizing obstacles like what you get on the DreamBot X40, or even if you compare it to the Narwhal. Why? Because we found that regardless of the floor, hardwood as well as carpet, this is not great for things like cords, and it's really not great for things that are plugged into the wall because they will keep trying to go over them repeatedly. And for areas that have fringe, because it over relies on the adapt lift chassis, it's going to be jumping on top of the fringe, not knowing that even this, though you think this is tangle free and this is tangle free and this is tangle free, kind of a fringe or a cable or a wire can get lodged very quickly inside of all three of these areas. And I do really like how deep the self-emptying station is, because then your unit can go completely inside and it can do a great job just fully encompassing the mop pads as well as cleaning everything and emptying it out. But the drawback here is, what if you're doing it or using it for something stinky? What if you're using it for something that might smell? Well, guess what? You will have to clean that area yourself. And they don't tell you that. You're really thinking that this can do everything, but it can do a lot of things, but it's not going to be able to do that. So these mop pads are going to be raised 10 millimeters, and that 10 millimeter raise is important because this unit is going to be specifically used for mixed floor types. So you might have carpet, you might have rug, you might have hardwood, you might have tile all on the same floor, like a lot of us, especially in our living room, dining room, as well as kitchen areas. So why is that a drawback? Because if you're having to send this out and you want it to do an effective job, basically what happens is it's going to be vacuuming and mopping simultaneously for majority of the session. So when it hits an area that's not carpeted or rugged, it's going to be still vacuuming as well as rotating the mop pads. And that's a problem because if you have any coloring here or debris, it could potentially stain your lighter colored carpets or rugs. I've had that happen to me. Now, if you take a look at the motor on your Qrevo Curv, it is a 18,500 Pascal motor, which sounds astronomical. I mean, think about it. This is more power than the Roborock S8 Max V, the DreamBot X40. So then the question is, how does it perform if you use it on carpet as well as hard floors? So for hard floors, I don't notice any difference really between this and the Roborock S8 Max V Ultra. Where I do notice a difference is going to be on carpets. So even though this is very powerful for carpets, you will have to operate it on the 2x mode. So that means it's going to make 2 passes instead of 1 to have really clean carpets. And you're going to probably want to put it on turbo mode. So in this case, even though it says 18,500 Pascal, it's really an option that you have to trigger yourself. It's rarely ever going to do that on its own automatic mode, as well as it's rarely ever going to do that unless you're setting it yourself manually. So let's talk about the battery here. It's coming with a 6400 mAh battery, and that's very good. I'm getting 3 hours of runtime on this, and I've ran it for over 30 hours already. Now, I want to be totally honest, I did not use the Roborock voice assistant here. In our experience, the voice assistant from Roborock is not ready for prime time. And honestly, I don't know many people who are using any other robot vacuums with their voice assistant. What's our verdict on the Roborock here? Even though I've named a lot of weaknesses or potential issues you will have with your Roborock Qrevo Curv, that's because I'm really picky. I review robovacuums pretty much for a living. But what about you? I don't think you do that, but what is important is, will this be able to clean your home? Yes, especially if you have thresholds that this can go over. As long as you make sure that you set up your no-go zones and your thresholds and you make your maps properly, this will work very, very well for a majority of people. It's really for the people that might have extra cords, your home is a little bit messier, or you need your robot vacuum to be working well, not just on hardwood or low pill carpet, but on high pill carpet. Because where the Roborock has the most difficulty, even though it has so much suction power at 18,500 Pascal suction, they beat it in your head with that. This has an issue specifically with high pill and medium pill carpet. We've tried it on both. We tried it on bath mats, and it does get stuck on them. And sometimes it won't follow its own pathing because it will try to lift itself because it will have level changes as it moves along that high pill carpet. So then you're not sure if your unit is doing a great job or as well of a job if it could, unless you turn off the Adapt Live chassis, which is the primary reason why you got it. You got it for the Adapt Live chassis. But then if you have carpet, it works better if you turn it off. So then why do you need the Adapt Live chassis if you have primarily carpet? That's my point. This is great for people with mixed floors and low pill, maybe even low to medium pill carpet. But if you got high pill carpet, this is not the way. And that's what I'm saying. Too much of a good thing is not a good thing. Because what happens when you have too much of a good thing? You have to pay for all those features, those gimmicks, like a car. It has too many accessories. It has too many dealer add-ons. And that's the secret. Too much of a good thing is a bad thing. And here, this had too many good things that I'm not saying it's bad, but it could be better. So with that, thanks for watching, everybody. This is Dave with the French Glow. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below. And please hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help support our channel. And I'll catch you next time. Bye, bye, bye.